Okay, now that we've looked at the use case, which is the user's perspective, we will move on to the workflow, which is the perspective of the designer. This is the person who is creating all the constraints, all the rules, all the guidelines of what the user should do. This is really the business planning. So on the first step of this, we determine what subset of pages on your site will trigger the interstitial. So you may not want every single page to cause an interstitial to pop up. You only might want a subsection of your site. So this needs to be determined. This is a business rule. The next thing to determine is what subset of users will be seeing the interstitial. You may not want every single user to qualify for seeing it. You may want only maybe people who are logged in or by a certain demographic. So you have to determine this beforehand. These are all business rules too. And this is information that the programmer needs to know before he starts programming, so he knows how to write up the code. And then the next thing is we need to know the entry point. The entry point event, or the trigger of the event, in this case is a user browsing to a page or a particular page. Sometimes the trigger of a feature is triggered by the state of your application or the state of your database. So it's not always the user who is triggering a feature to be activated. We'll cover some of those types of features sometime in the future here real soon. Okay, and you see that we are fleshing out the details a little bit further here. So what we have is a user browses to a page. So we have to determine, do we show them the interstitial or do we not? So the first thing we have to do is check to see if there is even an interstitial campaign that's live right now, because it could have been disabled, or it could be disabled or enabled at this particular point in time. So the code will check that. Then next, if that's true, if there are interstitial campaigns going at the moment, and then the next thing we need to check is to make sure that the user is a candidate for viewing this. See if he's one of the subset of people who are to see one of these interstitials, and to know if they've seen it already, because if they have, then we don't want them to see it again, if that is what the business rule is. And if they have not seen it, well, we're going to send them over to the page so they will see it. So what we'll do is we will insert a cookie indicating that they have seen the page, and then we'll go ahead and do the redirect to that page. And for analysis purposes, we will insert a log entry into the database for this particular event. We definitely want to track the statistics of this feature.